Well, hello. So the wrong camera just went live. Isn't that the way? Oh, well, you guys are getting me from this camera instead of my big fancy schmancy camera. What else is new? But at least I can look right at you and see your beautiful faces. Let me know if you guys can hear me. It looks like we got the green dots, but I want to make sure. As you come in, please say hi. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have a headache that could kill an elephant. So if I'm a little slow, I'm so sorry. We're going to start with an angel card. Seriously, could kill an elephant. I'm telling you this thing. Holy cannoli, you guys. Yeah, sorry you're getting my my computer, my beautiful computer camera instead of my fancy schmancy camera with the streaming hardware and all that jazz. It worked for the picture, but it didn't work when I went live. I'm so sorry. Rude. All right, people, let's do it. Okay, today we have... let me turn my, excuse please. I need to turn my focus on my computer or we are going to get interrupted like nobody's business. All right, there we go. All right. So how's July going for you guys so far? Anyone? Bueller? All right. You guys let me know as you come in. I don't know. I feel like the summer, it just goes so fast. And yet we all complain, right? We're like, oh, but it's so hot. Oh, it's this, that. And then we're like, wait, summer's over? How rude. It's the way it goes, right? Anyway, please let me know if you guys can hear me or if anything is off. Yeah, okay. It's not letting me change my camera. I'm sorry, guys. I promise I try really hard to be pretty for you and make fuzzy, nice backgrounds and, be in focus once in a while. All right, let's see what we got today. Ooh, maybe this is why I have a headache. All right, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, look, I don't have to worry about focus. Check it out. I don't know if I hope you can read it the right way. I doubt you can, right? I don't know, because you're on my computer camera, which you're not supposed to be on. We roll with this stuff. All right, so ground yourself. When you detach from awareness of your body and the physical world, you become ungrounded. Although it's pleasant to float heavenward, isn't it though? Your attention and work are needed upon the earth. We're helping you balance the spiritual and material so you can enjoy a fulfilling earthly life. Well, that's pretty dang poignant for today. I almost said damn, probably should have. The Mormon in me comes out sometimes, you guys. I know I can. You're so nice. And I'm in focus. Well, I'm in focus because my fancy camera isn't working. It worked to take my thumbnail for you guys, but it doesn't work when I go live. I'm just sure. Anyway, hi guys. As you're here, please come in and say hi so I know you're here. But the good news is at least I'm looking at you all the time instead of trying to go back and forth. So there is that. But you don't get, I love the ooey gooey, like out of focus background. What can I say? God, rude. Okay. So you guys, here's the deal. So a couple things are happening all at once. By the way, if you guys know Terri Cole, can you please get her to come on my podcast? Oh, I just said it. I said it. Terri, if you're watching, come on my podcast. I love you. So it probably helped if I reached out and sent her an email on my to-do list today, but I have fallen in love with this woman. Love her. And I have a mess to clean up with you guys. Terri Cole. She's a therapist in the city. She's been a therapist for over 25 years. She is the woman who coined the phrase, wait for it, high functioning codependence. That's right. You heard it here. I goofed. I looked and couldn't find it. And this weekend I was researching for something else and I finally found it. And she coined the phrase in 2018 and it didn't make it to the main stage until last year when I started talking about it because I'd heard it. I'd heard about it. And I should have done more research to make sure you knew who said it. It's Terri Cole, Trricole. Okay. She's awesome. Anyway, so she's on my list today. I'm reaching out to her, but here's the deal. With all this high functioning codependence that's going on out there in the world, as business owners, we have a problem. Okay. And that is that the business can only become as successful and as well oiled, right? I'm not even talking about money yet, you guys. And you know how much I love to talk about money because I want you to make a lot of it. Money isn't an experience. Do you know what I mean? It's that whole thing that everybody's like, you can't take money with you, blah, blah, blah. Like we hear those phrases and it clicked in a different way this weekend, which is why I wanted to talk to you guys about this today. But I was studying in my backyard with the dog. He was chomping at flies. He was very cute. But as I was studying, it hit me in a new way. And that is that money is not an experience. Money can give you experiences. You can use money to exchange for amazing experiences, but money itself isn't an experience. And that was the first time I sort of understood that in a new way. It's that idea you can't take it with you, right? All you can do is be your best self here, do everything that there is for you to do, right? And live the best life you can live. And part of that means you do need to be making money, right? It's really challenging to live your best life unless you're a monk, right? And you are in that kind of an environment where that's where you really chose to be. And that is your best version of your life. For everyone else, pretty much, unless there's a scenario I haven't thought of, it's a little bit challenging to feel really fulfilled, right? To feel like you are experiencing the best of this gorgeous planet that we live on, the best of other people, the best food, the best art from other people. And that includes for a lot of us jewelry or clothes or bags. I always talk about that scene from The Devil Wears Prada where, was it Miranda really explains to oh god, the character's name just flew out of my head. Anyway, she explains to her that this clothing that she's throwing around like it's no big deal, or these are works of art. This is somebody's expertise. They've spent their entire life learning how to create clothing like this, and that we should honor that, right? Like having money grants us that experience. Kathy Helly, that's funny. Kathy Heller, I was in a group coaching program with her not too long ago, and she said the most interesting thing, it was a Wednesday night, we were all just hanging out, and she said, buying shoes at Payless, which is totally a viable thing to do, right? They're shoes, it's great. But buying shoes at a Payless shoe store, they still exist, by the way. I don't know. You know what I'm saying. There versus walking in and buying a pair of Jimmy Choos, which are also shoes, right? These are just shoes, but the experience is completely different. What it feels like to put on a pair of Jimmy Choos. I don't own many. I own a couple, and boy, are they yummy, right? But like that experience is very, very different from what is the cheapest thing I can throw at myself. And this is really a part of our experience as entrepreneurs, right? I don't want you grabbing for the least expensive all the time. I want you to have those moments of like, look what I just did. Like having that moment of, oh, I did this thing. And for some people, that's walking across the floor in really expensive shoes. And for somebody else, it's that new hire. For somebody else, it's like getting the really uber duper amazing version of your website finally done. And for other people, it's knowing you're having a massive impact on the people that work with you, right? But in order to create that, it's not just about the money. It's about what you are experiencing as you do this. And I love money. So this is not going to be a woo-woo conversation about as long as you're fulfilled, everything's fine. Well, kind of. But if you're doing what you love, but you can't go to your favorite restaurant, right? Or you're nervous that you're one surprise bill away from going into debt, that's a really crappy way to experience your work. I hope that's making sense. Like I'm not, and by the way, you know what else I learned this weekend? Oh my gosh, I should study all the time, which is why we're having this conversation, because we should all study all the time. Side note, spoiler alert. Yeah. So the other thing I found out is there've been studies done on what motivates people, right? So those of us running our own businesses, like, am I the only one? Do you guys have days where you're like, meh, maybe I'll phone it in today, right? Or you're just like, oh my gosh, I have to take the weekend off. Or, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Or why am I even doing this? Does anybody even know I'm here? Those experiences that we can have sometimes when you're working so hard, you're doing all the right things, you're doing everything everybody's telling you to do, and it just doesn't feel right. So they looked at motivators, right? Like, is it the carrot stick thing? Is it just the money? Like what helps motivate people? So they did all these tests, and they did some at MIT, right? Really, like, usually there's money flowing in that area of the world, right? And then they did it in India where there wasn't as much money flowing. And the interesting thing is they found the exact same results. When the task at hand, right? Let me explain this. So let's say the task, I have nothing. I have a light bulb I need to get replaced. Okay. Anyway, so when the task was, say, screwing in a light bulb as fast as you could, right? A task, right? A task that doesn't require creative thinking, right? Where it's not like, let me plan out something brand new and execute on it, right? But rather, here's your to-do list for today. The faster you get it done, the more we'll pay you, right? When it was like that, the money as an incentive, the money as a motivator, that worked. Crazy, right? So that worked. If it was a flat out, do this thing, the faster you do it, the more we'll pay you. That works. Okay. Then they jump over to creative cognitive tasks. The craziest thing happened, you guys. So if you're trying to be creative, right, and you're really working towards something, the more they paid people, the worse their performance. I was like, I read this like 4 times. I'm like, this can't be right. I was like, this cannot be right. I was like, what? And the problem is the pressure came from outside and they didn't necessarily enjoy the creative task they were being assigned. And so their performance got worse. And you guys, I bet, I swear to God, I just had this conversation in the Sales Mastermind where one of the students was like, I don't like it when I get a big paycheck. I don't like it when I send a big invoice because I feel guilty. I feel like I shouldn't be making this much money. Have you guys ever had that experience? It's crazy. She's like, what if I can't fulfill on it? And of course she always does. And she's amazing, but that's like this fear we have, right? Of like, I don't deserve this much money, or, oh my gosh, if they pay me this much and I screw it up, then I'm really in trouble. And it turns out that happens in every culture all over the world. And they kept testing it in different cultures to be like, is this just like a Western American thing where like the more money we pay them, the more they freak out? And it turned out, no. When you are tasked with something creative and it's not something you love doing and someone's giving you a lot of money to do it, your performance will drop. Is that messed up? You guys, I was like in my backyard. I was like, did this just happen? Oh my God. And so what we want to do, there's kind of like a twofold process here that I'm seeing. And I'm going to give you guys some rules that come from a book called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. Cool, right? So it's called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. And I'll give you the 10 rules to becoming extraordinary that they share in the book. And you take which ones work, leave which ones don't. This is by no means meant to be a mandate, right? Yeah. And oh my God, yes. So Megan says she's felt that too, right? You get nervous when people pay you a lot. And even if you're like, but I'm good at this, oh my God, you start to freak out. So how do we deal with that? I just thought this was so interesting and that it's universal, you guys. Remember, I always say nothing lifts us up out of our humanity. This is a universal human experience. It's just wild. So again, remember, if it's a task you're being paid for, you'll have no problem. And this is the thing that I run in with women who start businesses all the time is they're like, oh, if a corporation pays me, I have no problem. Because it's usually like, do this, do this, do this, we'll pay you. Wild, right? But then when you go out and you've created something from scratch and you want to share it with somebody, you freak out when they want to pay you. This whole weird, like, where does the responsibility lie kind of thing? And it's just fascinating to me. So what we want to do in order to course correct this, because this is now like, this is a human function. This isn't particular to you. There's nothing wrong with you if you feel this way. This is actually what happens to us. Okay. So one of the things we want to know that we're doing is we want to know that the work that we're doing brings us joy. And I know that sounds basic. I know, but I say this all the time when I'm on coaching calls with the sprints or the Sales Mastermind participants and even the Game On Girlfriend members. We talk about it. Like I get off those calls and I can like run around and do it because it brings me so much energy, right? I'm so clear that that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to coach women when it comes to stumbling blocks to making their businesses successful. Like, got it. Like that's what I'm here to do. And it lifts me up as much as it helps the other person. So that's the kind of work we're looking for. Not just this brings me joy. Does it bring me energy? Does it make me feel alive? Does it take me, the human being over here performing the work? Does this human being get lifted up even more? Does this human being experience life on a new level? And if the answer is no, at least we know where to look. Now we're like, ew, I'm not feeling that way about the way that I work. Holy cannoli, let me look at this, right? It's pretty cool. Hi, good morning, Ilea. But yeah, isn't that weird? It's kind of counterintuitive in that if we enjoy the work, getting paid for it doesn't feel as funky. But sorry, my whole family's home. Sorry if you can hear people in the background. Yeah, but the whole experience here from soup to nuts, right, is that when you are bringing out your joy, your expertise. That's very different from being paid to be creative on somebody else's agenda, right? So when the agenda comes from the inside out and we're being creative, making money from that doesn't feel as incongruent, okay? And then the other thing that can really help us as far as generating this energy and having this money come in and feeling good about it, like feeling excited about it, is to have another incentive be the results you're causing for other people. And again, that might sound like a no-brainer, but do you focus on that? I bet you don't. I'll bet you don't. Hey, Rita, what's up, girl? I bet you don't. And here's why I kind of know that. Because I get your emails and I get your comments and I read your stuff. And what do so many people spend time on? Are you focusing on the results you're causing other people, right? Like what's happening to their lives because they're working with you? Or are you focused on what your competitors are doing and feeling bad about yourself? Hi, Evelyn. You see? Do you see? Is that wild? You're not focusing on the results you're causing people. I can almost guarantee that. And if you are, you can yell at me. It's cool. I can take it. But most people aren't. You're focused on how good you look. Look at me. What did I spend the first minute being pissed off that the fancy camera's not working? I mean, come on. We're always worried about us, right? Where actually the focus for me is, did you get something out of today's live? That's what's going to give me energy. I don't even see me when I'm doing these. Sorry, you guys have to look at me. It's the way it is. But at least I'm causing results. That's the focus. So when we start to feel demotivated, right? When we start to feel like we're doing the carrot and the stick thing and they're like, I got to do this to make money and I got to get reels and I got a website, right? When you're like, whoa, when you're focused on that and you're like, but I have to do it for the money. As a human being, we now know that's going to demotivate you and it's going to have you produce crappy work. I said it. I wasn't going to say it, but I said it. It has every one of us, you guys, I can guarantee if we're focused on how we look or how much money we're going to make in this pitch versus will this give me energy and will I cause results? Different ballgame. Now, there's one other thing about causing results is there's a certain point, and women have a hard time with boundaries. So again, massive shout out to Terri Cole on this one. There's a great book she has called Boundary Boss, about how to really find your own boundaries and what happens as you create a stronger relationship with yourself. Can you tell how much I love this woman? Because I always talk about self-trust, right? So powerful. I'm only on like chapter 6 and I'm like every chapter I'm taking now. You guys, it's such a great book. But the idea being, if you are trying to take responsibility for causing the results by controlling somebody else's behavior, that is also not going to work, right? Because you can't be responsible for somebody else's behavior. It's just impossible, right? I mean, it's impossible, regardless of what society tells us, like, where are their parents, right? At some point, it's like, yeah, and they're adults now, and or they're out with other kids and they're doing what kids do, right? And we all as a community will come in and support, but it's not one person's responsibility. Do you follow what I'm saying? Let me know if that didn't go in, because I know that's a tricky topic for a lot of people, especially women, right? Because but I always say, what do they say when the kids sit down on the couch? What do they say? Tell me about your mother. I don't know why all the responsibility is on us all the time, but it always is. So there we are. So we easily take that up and think, oh, if I'm not causing results for other people, I must suck. As opposed to, they didn't get the results they wanted. What more could I have done? And what did they not accomplish? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so Megan, Poppy Plum Media, they're my video editors. We love them. Yay, hooray. So let's say they give me a video, they edit it. It's amazing. And I don't do anything with it. Are they supposed to feel bad that they didn't cause results with that video? Or did I not post it? Do you see? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you guys, we can't take responsibility for everything. You take responsibility for your part and you show up 110% and you choose the work that gives you energy so that you can make great money doing it, right? And then at some point, we got to pull that boundary over there and say, great, and now it's on you. Let's go. And you can inspire and motivate and do whatever there is for you to do inside of your business, right? And we all have different businesses. Like, I love Evelyn's business, right? It's so cool. She goes in and cleans up people's toy rooms, which is like, I really wish I'd known you about 10 years ago. Anyway, yeah, like, amazing. But could you imagine if she gets blamed that a week from then, like the Tasmanian devil went through, right? Is that her? Is that totally on her? No, I'm sure she gives them rules and inspiration and exciting outlines for how to keep that in place. And they use it or they don't. That's not on her. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you've got to find your own boundaries inside of your business and focus on causing results. Does that make sense? I know it sounds like I'm being what is the word? I'm canceling out what I'm saying, like focus on results, but it's not all on you. But yes, focus on results and it's not all on you. And both of those things are true. And so it's up to you. This is why I love the book Boundary Boss so much, right? Because you've got to find where your boundaries are so that your energy level stays high so you can experience more things by making more money. Okay. Let me know if that didn't go in. So Rita says, teaching my kids that right now, we can't make anyone else do something and someone else can't make us do anything. What we do is the result of what we've decided to do, even the bad. Awesome. That's absolutely correct. And Evelyn says, yep, I put in a system so the kids actually want to clean up. There you go. Right. And kids are going to have bad days. Right. And the mom's going to have a bad day and then it'll get a little messy and then they'll use your system to put it back. But that's what I mean. You guys see where there's that boundary there where it's like, I can't be responsible for everything, but I'll give you everything I've got. It's kind of cool. Anyway. All right. So here's what I just wanted to go over. If you guys want to grab a pen and paper, I know you're shocked that in Coffee with Coach, I'd actually give you work. You better not be shocked. Knock you around a little bit. All right. So here's the deal. If you really, how do I want to say this? If you really want an extraordinary life, oh my God, I sound like Tony Robbins. I just don't know how else to say it. And I'm sorry, but if you do, and that means so many different things to so many people. And I hope you honor what that means for you. But I used to say this, and I might bring it back. I started saying it about 16 years ago. And then, I grew people and life sort of changed a little bit. But I used to say to people all the time, I want my tombstone to read, died completely burned out, not died well rested. Like, I was just like, what? Died with a lot of money in the bank. It's like, yes, save and don't be dumb. I don't mean that, but it's like died with a lot of money in the bank, always wanted to see the Northern Lights and never did. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And do you know what an extraordinary life means to you? And I know I sound very coachy right now, but when is the last time you actually asked yourself that? You guys, it's summertime here in North and South America-ish. We're summer, okay? And right now, everybody's slowed down. And this is an extraordinary time for you to sit down for a minute and actually figure out what experiences you want in your life. What would make your life extraordinary? Because I don't think, especially if you're in my circle, my world, and even if you bumped into this video accidentally, don't accident my ass, right? Like, it's like, you have to know what you want out of your life. Like, ask the coachy coach question. It's a damn good question. What do you need to have in your life for you to feel like your life was truly fulfilled? We don't ask these questions. We give away days and days and hours and weeks to Netflix and scrolling Instagram and gossiping about people and being nasty and eating crappy food. Like, over time, that's what your life gets made up of. I mean, that's like all that stuff builds up your life. And it happens every day. So we sort of just get numb to it. But every single thing I just mentioned is a choice. And there's only one person making those choices for you. You can start every morning by scrolling Instagram for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And that's like a little amount for most people, right? Or imagine what would happen if you read a book that challenged the way you think for 20 minutes and you started your day that way. Just imagine. I'm not saying you have to do that, but how different would your life be? Really? Like, I always think that when I hear people complain, or they're like, I can't seem to get past paycheck to paycheck. And I'm like, what books have you read? What podcasts are you listening to? The information's out there. I don't know. Oh, did you see this? Did you hear about this celebrity? And it's like, and I don't mean that to be like, dumbass, wake up. I don't mean that at all. We're all allowed to go on our own paths. And I really mean that. And I truly respect that. But question it. Don't do it without questioning it. And listen, we all need a break sometimes. Oh my gosh, please take a break when you need one. And please relax. I mean, I'm not saying run around all the time and always be learning, but how different would your life be? And are you aware that you are the one making those choices? Because you can't grow your business and live an extraordinary life if you're living a life that's by default. Okay? All right. I almost said, I love my directness. Yeah, I'm not one to mix words very much, right, Evelyn? Right. So she did a job and you took the entire thing personally, thinking that the customer wasn't happy. Then this year she called me back because she was so happy. I simply didn't interpret it that way. Right. Oh my gosh, Evelyn, that's a great example of how our heads get in the way, right? When the focus is just on, did I do everything I could possibly do to cause results for this customer or client? And if you focus on it that way, you will feel more fulfilled, right? And then the money is an added source of energy as opposed to oh shit, I don't know if I earned that, right? Like you want to really sort of sift through that and find out where your energy point is inside of all that. That was such a great example, Evelyn. Thank you for sharing that. All right, you guys. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to talk about 4 levels. I'm going to hustle. I swear to God, I'm sorry I talk so much. I was so excited about today. So there's 4 levels of life. Okay. So there is living in the culture scape, the Instagram, like this is what I'm supposed to do. Everybody, right? Like the culture without thinking. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2 is it's like you're awakening. And this is when you do start to choose your own world. Okay. So just sort of think about where you are inside these 4 levels. Okay. And no judgment. Like you guys know, I am a judgment-free zone. This is not for you to feel bad or be like, I should be doing what Sarah said. No, just sort of just like notice. Because the more you do that other thing, the more you'll stay exactly where you are. It's a promise. Okay. You don't want to do that. It's crazy. It's an ego trick. We don't do that here. All right. The next one is recoding yourself. Okay. And this is when you start to tap into the world inside of you, right? So the world that really, like I said, you're tapping into what brings you energy. What are you here to create? What do you want to produce for other people? What do you want to produce for yourself? What experiences do you want to have? And how much money do you need to cause those experiences for yourself, right? It's a different way than like, I'm going to make 6 figures. Why? What do you care? What do you care if what makes you happy is riding the local carousel once a month? Like, wait, like, do you know what I mean? What the? Okay. Recoding yourself. Number 4 is becoming extraordinary. And this is when you begin to change the world, right? So that is that higher level of like, I like the starfish story, right? Like all the starfish washed up on the beach during a tsunami and they were dying, and hundreds of thousands of them, right? And so the guy's picking up one at a time and throwing them back in the ocean. And people are like, what the hell are you doing? You can't possibly make a difference here. And he's like, I just made a difference for that one. And I made a difference for that one, right? And that kind of mentality, that to me is a level 4. And I know that story has made the rounds in my industry, and I don't care. I think it's fantastic, and it is absolutely the way I live my life, right? It's like I tell you guys all the time, you don't need 150,000 clients a year. You need probably 50. Like sim it down. Most people's 20 to make the living you want to make so that you can live your life. So let's all chill out, pick your 20, throw them back in the ocean, make a difference, focus on the results. Yeah. That's becoming extraordinary. And if you want to take it further, or you see paths to do that and it fills you up, it doesn't exhaust you and make you want to stick your head in a blender, right? Like if it's happening, you go out there and you're excited and lift it up. Fantastic. Okay. All right. So I'm so over time. If you guys can stay, great. If you can't, I totally understand. Okay. She was in your head for a year, but it was all made up, right, Evelyn? All made up. Yeah. Yeah. Focus on results. Focus on results. Oh, I love that goal. So Evelyn says her goal is to do what she wants to do when she wants to do it. I have a very similar goal, Evelyn. For me, there's not one piece of this earth that I want to go see that I don't see. That's my personal thing. Like the Northern Lights are actually on my list, by the way. All right. So, all right, you ready? I'm going to read off 10 rules real quick. So get your pens ready. Okay. And yes, the replay will be up forever, but work with me. All right. So rule number 1 is to transcend the culture scape. I want you to ask questions about how you're spending your day and your time. Just ask. Just ask. If I got hit by a bus today at 4, am I going to be happy that this is what I did this morning? Or is there somebody I need to call? Is there love I need to express? Is there something I need to write? Is there something I need to get out there? Question number 2, or rule number 2, is to question the BS rules. There are so many BS rules out there. And like that 6-figure BS, that's one of them. Like, I don't know who made that up. I don't know why that's a thing. I mean, numbers are so like arbitrary. Like, I will tell you $100,000 where I live on the East Coast is not the same as $100,000 in Salt Lake City where I was raised. Those are not, that's not, it doesn't even like, what? And who made that up anyway? Figure out the life you want to live and figure out how much money that takes for you. And that, by the way, if you haven't downloaded my freedom calculator, go grab it. It's sarahwalton.com/freedom. That will help you figure out this number, by the way. Don't be crazy. All right. Rule number 3 is practice conscious engineering. Now, this goes to the what books are you reading? What podcasts are you listening? What are you consuming? And if you're consuming garbage, don't expect that you can do garbage in and garbage isn't going to come out. That's impossible. Garbage in, garbage out. Challenge, inspiration in, challenge, inspiration out. Growth, development, love in, growth, development, love out. Don't fool yourself. You can't consume BS and crap all day long and assume that what you're going to put out there is going to be high quality. It's not. Heard it here first. Rule number 4, rewrite your models of reality. Like I said, your like dream, wonderful vacation might be going to the local park, hanging out for a little bit and riding the carousel because you love that music, you love the wind, and then you can go home and you are just filled up. For somebody else, they have to like climb the Eiffel Tower and have 3 croissants all day, right? Like we all get to decide that. Rewrite your own rules. Rule number 6 is bend reality. Here's what I mean by that. People tell me all the time, in 5 years, I want to make X amount. One, I don't know where X amount comes from unless they've done the freedom calculator or they worked with me or they've actually explained to me why. Because the first thing I'll say is why that amount, right? And then the next thing I'll say is why not do that in 6 months? Well, but I have you tried it? Well, but no, why? Why do you need 5 years? Who said that? And even if they did, why not shoot for 6? The worst is going to happen. You're going to speed it up by a couple of years. Why would you not do that? Bend reality. All right. Number 7, live in the blisscipline. I love this. In the blisscipline. Remember, just to give you guys, just to remind you, this comes from the book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. Okay. So live in the blisscipline, which is the things that cause bliss: gratitude, forgiveness, and giving. And I would say even deeper than giving for me, I would add contribution to that. You need to know that you're contributing to other people in order to live in that moment of like I said, the energy's high, the fulfillment's high, the joy is high. Okay. Number 8, create a vision for your future, please. And not how do I hear so often, I want to make $1 million. I want to retire my husband. And listen, I'm saying it like that because it's rote. For some people, it's not. For some people, it is a deep-seated desire. And it's something that they've had on their minds for a while. But again, you got to question why. And you've got to know what that future looks like. And if you've ever heard me talk about this before, I want to know details. I want to know what perfume you're wearing. I want to know what you can hear. I want to know what fingernail polish you have on. I want to know what clothes you're wearing. I want to know who else is in the room with you. I want to know why this is a moment of success for you. And if you don't have that created, please do that for yourself. Like, make it real and not just a vision board. I want a story. Like, what happens? And you guys, I'll tell you, this works. It's how I met Oprah. Swear to God, I'll never forget it. I had written down the story of what it was like to hug her and talk to her. I knew what I was wearing. I knew about my nail polish. I knew all the things I just listed for you guys, right? Totally, absolutely did. And the day that I got to meet her and talk to her was totally unplanned. So it wasn't like I was like, I'm going to go meet Oprah. I'm going to make my vision come true. I did not know I was going to meet her that day. It was I have a huge person to thank for that, but it was a surprise. And guess what? I was wearing the nail polish. I had on the shoes, and there were sneakers, by the way, because that's how I roll. My favorite ripped jeans. I know, but that's what I wanted to wear. And I just set a pretty top, and I had on a little white top. But I got to hug her. I just smell, gosh, she smells so good, right? But like all those things I got to go through, I did that, and I swear to God, it's because I knew that was a moment I had lived. It was a moment I'd experienced, and it was real. And so when it happened, I wasn't knocked on my assets. Okay. Number 9, don't let people fuck with you. Okay, just don't. Stop. Stop with this. What are they doing? What are they doing? And I'm going to say something right now, and I'm doing an uncut about this next month. If you are, I'm sorry, because I love so many people. I'm just going to say this. And if I hurt your feelings, please know I love you. Please stop dancing on reels and pointing at things that aren't there. Here's why. Not because the algorithm doesn't love it. The algorithm loves it. It's the infantilization of women. And if you own a business, act like a CEO. You do not see really wealthy CEOs doing that. You know why? One, they're busy, right? They are really at work creating like phenomenal results for their clients and customers. They're busy. If you want to create a reel, make it high quality content and get in that stupid algorithm the way we all have to. But please stop doing that. You guys, there's enough infantilization of women going on right now. We need to trust each other to run our businesses well. Stop. I mean it. I love you guys so much. And I know we're all trying to like do the best that we can on social media. That is not your best. That is copying what somebody else is doing. And I'm going to challenge you to go inward and create value in those reels based on who you are and why you were put on this planet. Not to be cute, not to be funny, but because it's who you are. And I love you. All right. Rule number 10, embrace your quest. So what this means is don't shy away from how big you want it. Okay. Don't shy away. I know it's scary. And you guys, I've done this too. I've shared with you guys before, like when my business first started to take off, like really started to take off. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm making grown-up money. Right. I know I was totally freaked out. I won't even lie. I was like, oh my gosh. Right. We start to freak out and you'll pull back. Okay. And that's why I'm saying claim your quest, like go for this. It's okay. Because what happened is I had a nasty client, like just horrible. And she was in a group program and she just poisoned the well. And I knew it when I let her in and I knew I shouldn't have, like, you know, what those feelings. And then you're like, I did this. Hi. Right. I had to take 100% responsibility for it. I like sent her flowers and made her go away. Right. I mean, it was just awful. I didn't sell anything for 3 months after that because I didn't want to claim that I'm going to have to bump into that in order to be as big as I've got to be. I just am. Not everybody's going to like me. People are going to come in and make fun of my hair or my makeup or whatever, right? That's part of the deal, but I'm going to claim my quest. You guys can make fun. I'll keep going. Be nicer if you said something nice though, too. Like we're all human. Nothing lifts me out of my humanity either. And it makes me sad, but I'll keep going, right? Because I've claimed my quest. All right. And that's where I want you to live. Is look around and sort of know what the competition's doing, but please don't base your happiness or your joy or your next business decision based on what some idiot's doing on Instagram. Stop doing that. Look inward. Look to you. Yes, look at industry standards, understand the rules, and then do something that comes from you. Okay, I love you. All right, let's see. My energy is zigging through the camera and Poppy says, preach. That's cute. We should make that a song. Okay, I'm totally over time. I'm so sorry, but I felt that this was really important. And I know this is an important message for the summer specifically, because it's really easy to pull back right now. And if you decide to pull back a little bit from selling or outward facing stuff, that's cool. But please use this time to ask yourself what you really want and then start creating it. Don't wait for somebody else to come in and approve it. Don't wait until somebody else does the next new thing on Instagram and then you copy it. Do you, man. Stop with this. Stop. Okay. I love you to bits. Go figure out what you need. And remember, ground yourself. I'm so sorry if this is backwards. Okay. I love you guys. Have a great July. I'll see you on the first real Monday of August, not the fake Monday like this is.